Mine thought it was great.
I've never seen someone eat so ferociously.
I told you they were hungry.
And it looked like they weren't having the cake that we had for dessert.
My crusader is very thoughtful for you, Grace. You out there for supper. Oh, sure. I'm not the night crusader anymore.
He looks like he's some sort of buffalo guy now.
Well, I beg your pardon. I am no buffalo. I am Yak Man. 50% yak. And 50% man.
Well,
And
I've never
100%,
heard
let me finish, 100% destroyer of all that dares to threaten the Himalayas.
Well, I've never heard of him.
Say, kid, where do you get your costumes made?
You have. Well, I make them myself.
Very nice. Very much for your shop. They can show you your costumes.
I don't see why not. They might look nice in some heather gray terry cloth uniform. I have some fabric swatches in my room if you'd like to come and see.
Sure.
Wait, Freddie, do you think it's a good idea to let Neil go to Night Crusader
Jackman.
Yak Man's room?
I think it's better if we stay in our own rooms.
Okay.
Alright, come on, kids.
I think I'd rather do work and spend more time in my cramped little room. Well, I better head to the kitchen and finish cleaning out. Bonnie and Bonnie, we all might have to be just if we had to be out in our room, I think it would be better if we lived in any rooms. Yes, we'll head back to our rooms. Freddie, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah, sure. I still have not been able to locate the whereabouts of my missing knitting needle. Is there anyone here who strikes you as a knitting needle thief? Lily? It's Lola, sweetie. Lola, then. How can you be so concerned about knitting right now? 3 people have been murdered. I'm not concerned about knitting. I'm concerned about the needle. Think about it. The knife was taken from the kitchen and ended up in Miss Wilcox's bag. The Michael sister's gun was taken from the cabinet and used to shoot Rachel. And right before supper, Neil's missing laptop ended up in the bathtub with Stefan. What does this have to do with your needle? I think the murderer might use my missing needle to murder his or her next victim. Wait, so you think your needle's a clue? Could be. Thanks for letting us know. Now I think you should return to your room. I'm getting dizzy. Okay. But be on the lookout for my missing needle, would you? Sure thing. Maybe brings up a good point.
I hate to admit it, but she's right. If we can't find who's doing all these murders, her knitting needle might be the next weapon. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? When is a better opportunity to murder an entire family than a family reunion?
We won't tell the others that we figured out a connection between all the victims. For now, we'll keep the clues to ourselves.
Oh, you're talking more and more like a real detective.
Stop everything! We found the murderer!
Get her off of me!
What's going on? Look what we found in the Zankiac suitcase!
Get her off of me and I can explain!
They look like all kinds of weapons.
No! The hat. These are prop guns and they are harmless.
Harmless? How can they be harmless?
Like this.
Wait! They're fine.
Why do you have all these weapons with you?
I like comic books and I use them as props in my uniforms. Why would I bring real weapons to stay at a bed and breakfast?
Well, how are we supposed to know these weapons were fake? They look pretty darn real to me. How'd you guys find the weapons in the first place?
I can answer that. Those who barged in my room just a second ago, that one sat on me. And that one started snooping through my stuff. Seems like a pretty easy way to find some murder weapons to me.
And why'd you do that? Well, you don't expect us just to sit back and let a murderer run around this place, do you? We decided to take matters into our own hands and find this murderer ourselves. Who knows what kind of weapons we could find if we search all of them rooms? How'd you even get in the Yak Man's room? I told you all to go back to your own rooms and lock your doors.
It was locked.
Look, don't think I can break a lock. Yak Man's room was the first one we busted into. And sure enough, there were weapons.
Prop weapons.
Fine, you little buffalo wing. You win this time. You know, Carlo Joe, it's too bad them weapons is fake. They look like they could blast any squirrel we found into beds. Maybe we'll find some real evidence in the next room we search. I think you all should return to your own room. I don't think the other guests would appreciate you going through their belongings.
I'm sure they would not.
crap for?
You know, just in case any of my costumes needs an invisibility cloak.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't touch me, stuff.
And make sure you lock your doors.
All right.
Freddie, I need to talk to you.
We got a problem here, Sherlock.
Wait, how did you, Billy, Sargy, and Minnie get in here?
We went,
Get in the kitchen and get in here?
we went into the kitchen through the back.
These 3, 4 were eavesdropping on us.
We were doing nothing of the sort. We merely walked into the kitchen to find some leftovers, and when we heard a very interesting conversation. A conversation that I think is very important to your investigation.
Why did you guys go in the kitchen anyway? We just ate supper.
Like I said, they were hungry.
Don't believe a word he says.
Anyways, when we walked into the kitchen, I started hearing a conversation, so I put my ear up to the keyhole. That's when I heard Connie and Bonnie tell Beatrice that Mrs. Wilcox was the nastiest woman she had ever worked with.
Well, it's true. It was our first date. You should see how she treated us.
I only met the old woman for a couple of minutes, but she seemed like one of the nicest old ladies I've ever met.
You were never under her thumb.
Anyways, after they said that, that's when I heard Beatrice said that the old windbag got what she deserves.
It's true. I said it.
So, if you ask me, one, if not all 3 of these, helped to murder Mrs. Wilcox, and maybe the others.
Well, why would we want to murder Dr. Shank and Mr. Livingston?
I don't know. Beatrice did say earlier that there was only so much she could take.
Well, how much food can mimes eat anyway?
A lot.
The 4 of you guys were staying in 4 separate rooms. If they were hungry, why did you come along?
They don't talk. I have to interpret for them.
A likely story.
Dear?
I think you all should return to your rooms.
Your
And
own rooms?
You 3 should stay put this time. Come on, kids.
Come on, Connie.
Let's hope that's the last one.
Ready? What now? It's urgent. I'm sitting in my room trying to get some writing done in peace and quiet. I had to move from the lumpy chair by the bed to the even lumpier chair by the window. It looks softer than the chair by the bed. The looks can be deceiving. Let me tell you, I will have to include that in my review.
Joel, you said this was urgent.
Yeah. Anyways, when I switched to the seat by the window, I noticed I could faintly hear voices coming from Robert's room. His room is right next to mine, you see, and I could hear voices through the cabinet by the window.
Were they talking about the murders?
I don't know. I couldn't make out words, only voices.
What's so urgent about that?
Notice I said voices, plural. Robert has someone in his room with him.
Who?
I'm not sure, but we know it can't be his wife.
Why not?
She's in the freezer.
Remember the little incident with the rifle? Oh, right. Well, what can I do to help?
Maybe you can go figure out who Robert has in the room with him.
Good idea.
I don't like the situation. Not like it.
I'm sure there's a logical explanation for why Robert has someone in the room with him.
There's been nothing logical going on in this place all evening.
Why down to Robert's? Suzanne?
No, don't say a word. It's none of your business what we're doing in my room.
You know how suspicious this looks? What's suspicious about the 2 of us having a little conversation? You don't think there's anything suspicious about 2 people whose spouses have just been murdered getting together for a secret conversation? No. I'll bet a murderous plan is in the works.
This sounds like an accusation.
It is an accusation.
How dare you accuse me of murder?
You wouldn't be accused of anything if you just stayed put in your room like you were asked.
Doesn't anybody follow directions anymore?
Oh, well, what are you doing with that 2x4? Well, it's for protection, of course.
What are you doing out here? We told you to stay in your room.
Well, I was sitting in my room with nothing to do and I found my missing needle and it struck me like lightning. Freddie, I should help you catch the murderer. I will be your assistant.
Freddie already has an assistant.
Who?
Me.
The girl's carrying a giant sword. It's for protection. I am not going to let the murderer murder me with my own knitting needle.
I wouldn't mind it.
You are too much. It's no joke. I'd hit that murderer right in the face before you got the chance. This is ridiculous. We can't have everyone in and out of the room like this, especially carrying around weapons. Someone could get hurt.
Or murdered.
Or worse.
Okay, can you all gather up all the guests? We need to have a bed and breakfast meeting.
Right.
Hold it.
I did.
Stefan, let me introduce you to our friends.
Hello, everyone.
We gotta figure out who the murderer is before anyone else is, well, murdered. It's crowded enough in that freezer with the three of us. I can't imagine trying to fit another body in there.
So, what's going on now? A meeting? I wonder what they're going to discuss. Let's see. Resume.
A bed and breakfast meeting? What is the meaning of this?
Take a seat.
Hey, I haven't been in any more rooms, I swear.
Thank you. After supper, I asked all of you to return to your rooms, and none of you listened.
Well, some of us were dragged out here.
Well, some of us thought we had reason to drag others out here against their will.
I know you all have your reasons, but you can't forget there's been 3 murders. We don't know when the murderer will strike again.
The murderer is someone in this room.
If you ask me, it's one of those 3, if not all of them. We overheard them talking in the kitchen.
We know you have your accusations, and we think it's best if we clear them out. So, who wants to go first?
I'll start.
You may have the floor, Joe.
As I already told Freddie and Christine, a few moments ago, I overheard Suzanne having a conversation with Robert in his room. There's nothing suspicious about 2 of us having a conversation. You were found together when you've been told to stay in your own rooms. Now that sounds mighty suspicious to me. Did anyone ever think that Phase 2 might be in on the murders together? Isn't it funny that shortly after your husband is found fiddling with another woman, he winds up dead? If you really want to know the truth, Stefan and I weren't even a couple anymore.
Is she telling the truth?
I'm afraid so. Well, don't look so shocked, everyone. Stefan and I were married for business purposes only. We acted as a pair. We needed each other for our careers to survive. I wasn't angry when I found him with Connie, who was only my husband. Do you think I was in love with him? Well, you sure seem mighty angry to me. It's called acting. I've had Stefan with plenty of women over the years, and he's found me with plenty of men. Our marriage was purely for show. Well, sure, it started off with love and affection, but the love died out a long time ago. Since we already established ourselves as husband and wife acting duo, by the time our marriage crumbled, we started to remain together. You can't very well keep the slogan, partners on and off the stage, if the audience doesn't believe you're a couple.
So why were you in Robert's room? Are you and Robert a thing now?
No. Are you forgetting we're here for a family reunion? Suzanne is my cousin. Well, she's my wife's cousin's wife. Suppose that makes us cousin-in-law.
Sounds fishy as a 2-ton pile of crab cakes.
Maybe it does, but it's the truth.
Now, if the 2 of you are having an affair, you would both be free of plenty of burdens with your spouses out the way.
We're not having an affair, and even if we were, why would we want Aunt Gretchen dead?
If anyone wanted Mrs. Wilcox dead, it was those 3. We overheard them talking, and they said that the old lady got what she deserved.
Oh, really now?
Even if I said she got what she deserved, I don't remember saying I was the one who gave it to her.
That's right.
It's perfectly possible to dislike a woman without murdering her.
That's right.
I may have spit in her coffee a couple of times, but that's like it.
That's right.
You know,
I'm
maybe after,
interrupting, Miss Kugelheimer.
maybe after years and years of neglect, Beatrice just finally snapped and killed the old bag. I mean, we all have moments.
Well, why wouldn't I just found another place to work if I dislike Mrs. Wilcox that much? The old lady may not have been my favorite person, but I'm no murderer.
And why would we murder Dr. Schenko and Mr. Livingston? We didn't have problems with them.
Joel had a problem with Stefan. His reviews in Theater Weekly were downright horrible.
They certainly were.
So?
Why don't you tell everybody here why you no longer work for Theater Weekly and instead work for Hotel Monthly?
I wanted a career change.
I thought critiquing hotels sounded more appealing.
Are you forgetting that we also work in the entertainment industry? We hear the rumors. The real reason you were fired, the real reason you no longer work at Theater Weekly is because you were fired. Tossed out without even a see you later. Your reviews of play, you ripped apart plays, and then they went on to become great successes. Your opinion in theater was no longer valid.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Maybe you secretly blame actors like Stefan for your failure.
Then why wouldn't I murder Suzanne? And why would I murder Gretchen and Rachel? If you ask me, it's the 4 of you who look suspicious here. You've been running around this place all evening.
The minds are hungry.
Again, how much food can minds eat anyway? It would make perfect sense if the 4 of you were the murderer.
You've been in and out of the kitchen with access to knives, and who knows where else you've been lurking. Probably by the cabinet to steal the gun. You're spying on me, Connie, and Bonnie in the kitchen, and you're probably spying on the other guests as well, waiting for the perfect opportunity to murder them.
And what was our motive?
Come up with something.
Well, if you think snooping around is suspicious, look at those two. They barged in my room just a second ago, and again, that one sat on me, and that one started snooping through my stuff. It seems like a pretty easy way to find some murder weapons to me.
We weren't snooping to steal, we were snooping to protect.
So you claim.
Why would we want to commit murder?
Well, that's easy. You wanted revenge on Mrs. Wilcox for locking up your gun.
Do you really think we would stoop so low as to murder someone over that?
Well, you were pretty angry that your right to bear arms been violated, but you were angry about something too, Lola.
That's right. Rachel was wearing an animal skin, and that made you angrier than a bull.
You are accusing me of something I am incapable of doing. I do not believe in hurting animals, and that includes humans, even those who wear animal skins.
We're all pointing fingers here, but no one has mentioned the fact that Yak Man over here is looking mighty suspicious.
How lies.
You read all those comic books filled with violence? You must know an awful lot about how to murder someone.
And if the murder's done with techno laser beams and supersonic force, I know nothing about guns or knives or electricity. Zing.
Seems like the perfect murder suspect to me.
No!
Wear all those costumes?
Uniforms.
Well, those dumb uniforms, a villain could very well be hiding underneath all of those.
No, impossible.
Well, maybe you want to be the ultimate villain. A murderer could very well be hiding underneath all of those. We don't even know your real name.
I don't either.
You don't honestly expect us to believe you don't know your real name.
Well, I've been running around bullied my whole life, wearing all these costumes for so long. I don't even know my own name anymore, but it's something Jacobs. Funny? Something Jacobs.
Can't honestly expect us to believe that.
You don't. But if you're going to point the finger at me just because nobody else has, point the finger at the two that haven't been accused yet. These two.
Us?
Freddie and Christine. How why do they get to sit around on their high horses and run the show while we ought to be down here pointing fingers at each other and accusing one another?
Good point. He has a point. The two of you keep insisting we stay in our own rooms, all the while having free reign over the rest of the bed and breakfast.
It can't be us. Why would it be us?
Like I said. Guys, it can't be them. They were in here when Aunt Gretchen was murdered in the hallway.
Yeah, and they were out here when Rachel was murdered, so it couldn't possibly be them that passed by Stefan and Connie in the linen closet.
And they were both in here when the fuse popped and Stefan was electrocuted, so it couldn't have been them.
I would never. And Freddy's too sweet to even hurt a fly. And we were in here when the murders happened. So it's one of you guys. One of you guys had the motive and the opportunity to murder someone. Freddy, you need to figure out who that was.
Yes, but I don't know how to do that.
Hold it. This bonehead doesn't have a clue what he's doing. If we don't help him, half the guesses will murder before the night is over.
Well, in all the murder mysteries I've been in, there's always a scene where the detective questions the suspects.
Yes, I have an idea. I have a notebook and pen around here somewhere. We can have these folks ask questions and we'll give them to Freddy.
You mean we're gonna meddle from beyond the grave?
We've been doing it all night.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll jot down the notes. I'm used to writing quickly from taking notes in the field.
And I'll handle these folks. So Vaughn, you just stand and look pretty like you always do. So, does anybody have a question you think we should ask Freddy?
For Freddy to ask other people, where were you whenever a certain human who maybe decided at the moment was murdered? Jesus. Where were you when the suspect was murdered? Not suspect.
Victim.
Victim. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay.
What was the mind's at the moment?
Okay. Any more questions?
Do any of the suspects have any experience with poetry?
Does anyone have access to orange pin?
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Is that it?
How do we get ready to notice it?
Oh, that's easy. Here we go. Resume.
What's this? Wait, it looks like interrogation notes. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good, my little Sherlock Holmes.
What can I say? Well, the first question is for yeah, man. Where were you at when Stefan was murdered?
Well, I was in the bathtub on the phone with my girlfriend. And we were just going over ideas for the next Comic-Con. So, I was in the tub.
The second question is for Rhonda May. Do you have any experience with poetry?
Define poetry.
Writing in stanzas and rhyming words.
You know, in Alabama, we don't got stuff like that. Amen.
I'll believe you for now. Robert, do you have an alibi for Rachel's murder?
Well, I was looking for Rachel in our room and throughout the hallway, and I wasn't out here when she was murdered.
Margaret? Do you ever have a reason to murder someone?
That means no. She was married.
So, just curious.
Yes.
Well, that's all the questions I have.
Do you have any clue who the murderer is?
Not a clue. There's a surprise.
Do you have a better idea?
No, I just don't want anything to happen to you.
I'll be fine. Think about it. There's no better way to catch murderers than leaving me out here as bait.
Yeah, but you will be out here by yourself. There won't be anyone here to protect you.
I'll be fine. I can protect myself. When you go back to the room, make sure you make it perfectly clear that I'm out here alone and you're going to bed.
Okay.
Good night, honey. I'll be taking a nap in our room if you need me. Sweet dreams, Sugar Bear. Now I have to wait.
I didn't know that was still awake.
Joel, what are you doing out here?
Just going to stretch my legs.
Reddy's gonna be awfully mad if he sees you out here.
I'll take my chance.